Welcome to the Wednesday meditation. Oh, no, actually, this is Sunday. This is Sunday. This is the Sunday meditation. Hello. It's just such interesting times. And so, right here and right now, we're going to get centered. And when Jack and I got into the work, and I always call the work, is getting into the true work, which is the spiritual self developing in a lifetime. And that included meditation. Every Wednesday we would go to the ARE, which was the Edgar Cayce Foundation in New York City, and we would meditate at 7 o'clock for like an hour and a half. And the first time I went, it was a really long meditation. I think it was probably like 40 minutes. And all I could think is, how am I going to crawl out of this room? But there were all these people sitting in lotus position, and I couldn't see any legs or anywhere anything was. And there was no crack in the door. And I just thinking, how am I going to do this? Well, we kept going every Wednesday until you just disappeared, and you didn't even feel how long it was. And then you did healing prayer at the end of it. So that was our training, and I thank God for it, because it's been a blessing our whole life. So we're going to meditate now, and I'm going to do a chant, and I'm going to sing a line, and Larry will be singing with you. So you can just join in with the repeat. You are in the sun.
You are in the sun.
In each flower's bloom.
In each flower's bloom.
You are in my heart.
You are in my heart.
In this very room.
In this very room.
And my soul keeps singing.
And my soul keeps singing.
Oh, divine, all I want is you.
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 Oh, divine, all I want
Oh, divine, all I want
is you.
is you.
You are in the desert.
You are in the desert.
You are in the sea.
You are in the sea.
Dancing in the grasses.
Dancing in the grasses.
Whispering in each tree.
Whispering in each tree.
And my heart is singing.
And my heart is singing.
Oh, divine, all I want is you.
Oh, divine, all I want is you.
Oh, divine, all I want are in the sun.
You are in the sun.
In each flower's bloom.
In each flower's bloom.
You are in my heart.
You are in my heart.
In this very room.
In this very room.
And my soul is singing.
And my soul is singing.
Oh, divine, all I want is you.
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 Oh, divine, all I want
Oh, divine, all I want
is you.
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 Good morning, everyone. Here we are again, approaching what we commonly call the holidays. Thanksgiving on Thursday is a holiday. A holiday is a time when we are not required to work. And so it is a time that we can fully enjoy life. Unfortunately, too many people do not know how to enjoy life. When my granddaughter was about 4 or 5 years old, we would call my son and his wife, and we would talk to my granddaughter. But when we talked to her, we'd say, "How are you doing, Anna Jade?" And she would say something like, I'm having a happy day," or this is not a happy day. So she would measure her day, and it would be measured by whether or not she was going to go swimming that day or to the amusement park. And if that were the case, she would say, this is a happy day. But if she had to clean her room or help clean her room, and or she couldn't go out and play because certain restrictions were placed on her, she would say, "This is not a happy day." And she was involved in relating that to us, and then we'd ask her, why isn't it a happy day? Or why is it a happy day? And then she would explain, but it would always come down to the circumstances that the day was presenting to her. And while it was kind of cute, it happens to be the way that most adults still determine whether this is a good day or a bad day strictly by the conditions and circumstances that are surrounding them on that particular day. And so we need to understand, even though we have this opportunity to be out from work and free to enjoy the time off, and sometimes more than a day. And back when they initiated the whole idea of taking time to enjoy without being involved in the necessity to work, that began as a Sabbath. It was called a Sabbath day. It was so important to have a Sabbath day that it was legislated in the Ten Commandments. One of the commandments of God is that you should take at least one day a week to not be involved in acquiring, getting, and learn how to enjoy life as it is. So I think what would be helpful for us is to look at the origin of the word holiday. It actually is derived from two separate Greek words, holy and day. So a holy day is that time where we are supposed to enjoy life fully, completely, without the necessity and concerns of having to work or provide or grasp or get. And this is the reason why most people do not know how to enjoy the day. They don't know how to enjoy life in general because they don't understand what holy means. You see, the original word is holy day. And we don't understand what holy is. And so let me try to explain the meaning of that word. The full meaning of that word is wholeness. Wholeness. When the mind is in wholeness, it is already enjoying life. To the degree that the mind is not in wholeness, or its perceptions are not derived from wholeness, then it is in consternation of some kind, worry, fear, and concern. So the secret to life is opening the mind to the reality beyond the limited perception of separation. See, the limited perception of separation, the mind carries on in that illusion and has all of these limited feelings and thoughts about the seeming others that it perceives, the seeming conditions it perceives and people it perceives. And so it has not just wholeness of feeling, but it has separation, isolation, and fearful relationship to what it sees as being separate from itself, and the mind defining itself as being a separate body, mind, separate from all other phenomena and all other people. So you see how that does not carry over to enjoyment. It makes enjoyment almost impossible, because we can never really be free to just allow the moments to be as harmonious and beautiful as they are without these limited fears and concerns and worries. As a matter of fact, if a person in the outer directive thinking of the world were to check himself or herself out, they would discover, if they were honest enough, that just about everything they do is inspired by fear. They do it out of fear, concern, worry, have to do more, get it done, finish it, etc. And you're not right with yourself until you can get it done, finished, or more, so that you think on some distant day, I'll have accumulated enough, and then I'll feel okay. I'll be fine with that. But you see, the mind is forever driving. And the problem that the mind has, it has no way of knowing what enough means. It doesn't know what enough means. It only knows more or less, more or less, more or less. And that's why you have a society hell-bent on greed. Because it's sick. It's sick. It doesn't know how to enjoy. It doesn't know how to be present. It doesn't have wholeness in its awareness. It has fragmentation, which, brings about anxiety and fear. So it is necessary for us to transcend the limited thinking of the mind. And so we must learn to see beyond the appearance of fragmentation. We must learn to see beyond the appearances of fragmentation, because they're not real. There is only one. There is only one presence, moving, expressing. And we are rising with that present, moment to moment to moment. Our consciousness is rising with that presence, moment to moment to moment. When we know that we are one with the one self expressing, we are free to flow, free to allow, free to bless, free to help, free to share gratitude, free to have peace. What I'm sharing with you is all that the masters have ever shared. All that they've ever wanted everyone to know is what they know. You are not a separate body, mind, and a world of separate phenomena. And until you recognize that and do a spiritual practice that helps the mind transcend that, you will not have enjoyment, because you don't know how to be present and flow and accept and bless and enjoy. You don't. You're driven. And so that's what we are all about in unity. That's what we are about practicing. Practicing the presence of the one self-expressing. So let me share this with you. You've all heard this and left it behind. Some of you have left it behind in Sunday school. To love God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul. And the second commandment is like it. Not only that, it says the second commandment is just like it. To love your neighbor as yourself. Goes on to even say to love your seeming enemies. The Master of Life is saying to you, do you want true life? Or do you want to continue to know limitation, fear, suffering, and worry? But you have to come to love your neighbor as yourself, because your neighbor is yourself. There is only one. One power, one presence expressing. And that is the wholeness of awareness. That is the enlightened consciousness. So we have this law that is above all other laws. And it is above all other laws because it bespeaks the truth of our oneness with all others. Can we have this first PowerPoint, please? You can read this in Matthew 7, chapter 7, verse 12. So whatever you wish that men would do to you, do so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. So whatever you would wish, I didn't get a chance to change that. I always change it. I got so busy. I shouldn't have gotten that busy. I always change it to others because it's more appropriate to be stated that way. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do so to them, for this is the law of life and the prophets of all time. Enjoyment is looking then beyond perceived differences, which is but a rote practice at first. It's a rote practice. It's something you take an idea and you carry it with you in your life. And you learn to pause when you're beginning to have limited negative feelings. And so you have this rote practice of looking beyond the seeming differences, the seeming foibles of other people. And it's only a rote practice. But if you will carry on that rote practice, eventually your mind will be engulfed with the divine, holy awareness in which you will not have to do anything. You will flow naturally, spontaneously in the joy of being here now, perfectly okay and cared for. Do you believe that? Do you believe that there are those who are living in that awareness? That they live in the moment, knowing that they have joy, peace, and they are cared for totally. There's not a single concern about what the future may bring. That is the mastery. And this recognition is an automatic thing. It starts by rote, but eventually, automatically, the one divine consciousness enters into the mind that was perceiving itself as an individual and purifies it. And then it allows that mind to see and experience the oneness of being. This is expressed in A Course in Miracles in this way. Can we have this next PowerPoint, please? Thank you. This is A Course in Miracles text, the old text, page 114. Come therefore unto me, and learn of the truth in you. The mind we share is shared by all our brothers and sisters, and as we see them truly, they will be healed. Let your mind shine with mine upon their minds, and by our gratitude to them, make them aware of the light in them. This light will shine back upon you and on the whole, and upon the whole sonship, because this is your proper gift to God. That should be a capital G. I didn't have the time. Let me explain something, what happened on Saturday when I was going to put this talk together. I had a flood in the laundry room that came up. My laundry room is deep in the basement. It's an awful thing to watch happen when it happens. But it is just a sludge-covered flood, everything down there. And I have to go down there with a Roto-Rooter. I have to go down there and clean everything up even before I do the Roto-Rooter. Are you interested in this? And I went down there with a brand new motor-driven Roto-Rooter that I bought, and cleaned it all up. It took a half hour just to do that, so I could put the Roto-Rooter down. It wouldn't be in the water. And I started the Roto-Rooter down this very difficult thing, this drain in the floor. And then it felt like it was going really well, and so I just let it fly, which is what you're supposed to let it do, to fly through the pipe about 20 feet. It didn't fly through the pipe. It got stuck and wound up and completely crunched up the entire cable, destroyed the cable and the machine totally. And I thanked God for that. I managed for another hour to try to clear it. I had to cut the cable and withdraw it, and This is hours and hours and hours that I would have been spending fixing things like this. So now I will read it to you the way it should have been done. Because this is your proper gift to God with a capital G, he will accept it and give it to the sonship, because it is acceptable to him and therefore to his sons and daughters. And this is true communion with the Holy Spirit, who sees the altar of God in everyone. And by bringing it to your appreciation, he calls upon you to love God and his creation. You can appreciate the sonship only as one. This is part of the law of creation and therefore governs all thought. I'll take this back again, please. Come therefore unto me and learn of the truth in you, which is where the Christ or divine nature resides. The mind we share is shared by all our brothers and sisters, and as we see them truly, they will be healed. Let your mind shine with mine upon their minds, and by our gratitude to them, make them aware of the light in them. This light will shine back upon you and on the whole sonship, because this is your proper gift to God. He will accept it and give it to the sonship, because it is acceptable to him and therefore to his sons and daughters. This is the true communion with the Holy Spirit, who sees the altar of God in everyone, and by bringing it into your appreciation, he calls upon you to love God and his creation. You can appreciate the sonship only as one. This is part of the law of creation and therefore governs all thought. So, you cannot whip up love. You cannot make love in the illusionary consciousness. Impossible. You can make believe love. You can fake love, but you can't experience the majesty of love until you, in the mind, know the truth. So the secret to love in every way is to purify, transform the mind through spiritual practice, meditation, affirmation, carrying the truth with you, doing it by rote at first, looking past all seeming limitations, and then resting back instead of reacting, taking issue with. Do you see it? You see the difference between mastery, those that are in peace and joy and vision, and those that are not? Those that are not haven't purified. They haven't gotten to that place where they're looking past the limitations, the difficulties, the concerns of the world. They're involved in them, and they're reacting to them, and they're taking issue with them, and that's why they never have a moment to enjoy being in life. And the transcendental sage, Emerson, put it this way. Can we have this next PowerPoint, please? This is from the Gospel of Emerson, page 43, paragraph 2. There is one great source of all special manifestation of spirit. This spirit is self-renewed in each one who will listen by teaching from within, intuitions, and can go out from the receiver to help the world, tuitions, made clearer by exactly fitting words. This shows the real self on which people shall rely. There is one great source of all special manifestation of spirit. This spirit is self-renewed in each one who will listen by teachings from within, intuitions, and can go out from the receiver to help the world, made clearer by exactly fitting words. This shows the real self with a capital S on which people shall rely when they fully desire and want joy, peace, insight, and love. When that is tantamount, when that is the priority, when that is why you get up each day and do a spiritual practice, that's when ultimately the true oneself, manifesting in all experience, comes into you, and you are one with God. And worry goes out the window. Fear is dissolved. You finally know how to live effectively, beautifully, joyfully, moment to moment to moment, without all those concerns for being cared for. I'm going to conclude this with this particular quote. So you know, you got to see a variety of the masters. These are all masters that I'm quoting. So can we have this next PowerPoint, please? This is Sri Ramana Mahatmam. All is one. See for yourself if the statement, all is one, is conducive to good or evil. As far as it is true that only that person can be righteous who regards himself the same as he regards others, and regards others the same as he regards himself, how can any evil attach itself to him who knows himself to be others and the others to be himself? We conclude that there. We don't have to take the rest of it. I just want to remind you that on this Thanksgiving Day, we can awaken our minds by being mindful to the fact that everything we look upon, everyone we see, is only God expressing and may not yet feel the light or the expansion of oneness. But it is up to us to open up our minds to it. And because we are all one, it will bring a healing effect to all of those who are joining us in the Thanksgiving celebration and enjoyment. If you want to really enjoy Thanksgiving or any other holiday, and then you will be so proficient at practicing the presence and looking past the limitations, you will be so proficient at it that every single day of your existence, you will be in that joy, that enjoyment, that peace, that love, that wholeness, knowing you are cared for and will receive all that you ever need to be absolutely happy. That's heaven. So we're going to take some time now to meditate. We'll begin by experiencing the oneness. Just allow yourself to flow in it right now. That's it. Just allow yourself to relax and flow as you listen to the bowls. And if you don't have a particular meditation technique, you can take this idea and use it as a mantra to keep your mind gently focused on it. This is using the name of God, I am. I am in you, you are in me. I am the truth that will make you free. Be still, O distracted mind, and know that I am one in all. I am in you, you are in me. I am the truth that will make you free. Be still, O distracted mind, and know that I am one in all. as we go forth from this meditation to those places we occupy in time and space. Let us be consistent with our practice, which may seem rote, but will bring forth a new awareness of divine forgiveness, love, peace, and joy. For this opportunity, then, in every moment, let us just give thanks. And to this, we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now in our way because of the regulations. We will bring the amount that we would like to donate to Unity of Boulder to continue to keep the ministry that takes place here every single day going. And if you're watching on screen, you can use any one of these methods to donate. If you're receiving something of inspiration and healing and truth, then please make a gift to Unity of Boulder. Those of you seated here, you can just bring to mind whatever gift you want to make to Unity of Boulder, and you can deposit it either if it's a physical gift in the basket, or you can use your credit card to use the dip jars on the table in the lobby. So as we bring this gift to mind, let's bless it with this offering statement. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.